Welcome back to Nadya's Notes, and I'm very happy to see you here, and I'm happy to be here. It's very hot in New York, 29 centigrade. Yes, this is summers in New York. We get a lot of heat. So I wanted to give you an update on the hand. I don't know if you can see. Okay. So the top was healing nicely. The bottom was a little unhappy with me. So the first day that I woke up, I posted about this. There was like skin flap and I couldn't tell if there was pus. So last night, in my infinite wisdom, I applied hydrogen peroxide, and then I decided to put liquid bandage, and guess what happened? So I woke up in the morning and my hand was hurting, and I looked at it and I was like, I think there's pus, like you see it down there. And there was pus, and I pushed it out. And then I was like, I really need to get rid of this liquid bandage so that the wound can heal, which is what I did. The thing is that I kind of knew that I was taking a risk when applying liquid bandage, because this has happened before. Like, you have to be super duper careful to make sure that you sterilize the wound really well. Otherwise, you get a pus situation. Oops. Anyway, what else do I want to talk about? I don't know. We're just walking. I have cherries with me in my bag. I'm going to head into the city. I think I want to show you one of the places where I like to eat. I was there the other day and I got 2 chickpea chicken something patties and a mango lassi, and they were all fantastic. So I think I'll go back to the same place, have the same food, and share it with you. We can have dinner together. That would be something. So yeah, the hand is definitely healing. So the stuff that you see, that's the liquid Band-Aid. What else? I don't know. Sometimes it's like nicer to go outside in the evening because it gets so much cooler. So I tend to stay in during the day. Because now there's like a lovely breeze. One of these days we have to go to the ocean and enjoy the beach. And maybe the way to do it, the best way to do it, is to go to Far Rockaway. So we can take the ferry. One of the ferries goes to Far Rockaway. And then, but I don't like tanning at the beach. That's not like my thing. I'm more like just swimming. And I'm like, if I go alone, how do I make sure my stuff doesn't get stolen? That's always like, it's always a concern if you go alone. Maybe I can encourage someone to come with. We'll see. Yeah, the hair looked much better, but then I decided to take a shower and not wash it. And so I think it got a little like damp. Oh, okay. So I also looked up, because we traditionally in my family use iodine for cleaning, kind of keeping wounds infection free. And a friend of mine recommended that I use hydrogen peroxide. And I hadn't done research before, and it turns out my family is doing it right. So this is like a Russian thing. All Russians use iodine. There's also another green thing. I should look up what it is that you can use if you don't have iodine. But I kind of think that's like just food coloring in some kind of a base. So I don't know. But iodine is antibacterial, I think. No, definitely antibacterial. I can't believe I just read it and didn't memorize it. It basically covers a wider range of organisms that can attack you and cause infections than let's say antibacterial cream, because antibacterial cream works on bacteria. But iodine can work on protozoa, maybe on viruses, I don't know. I have to look again. And hydrogen peroxide works partially by lifting whatever debris you have in the wound, because it releases, the formula is H2O2, so then it converts when it comes into contact with skin or bacteria or blood particles, like not the healthy skin, but like if you have a wound, the oxygen can lift particles out of the wound, and then it also affects something in the cell, which I forget, and I'm sorry, because I didn't research it deeply enough, so I don't completely understand the mechanism, and thus that I can't explain it to you. So a good way to know if someone is really knowledgeable about something is to see if they can explain it. Because if you can explain it super easily, then it also means you really understand the mechanism. Not always important. Sometimes it's just important to know, like in this case, that iodine, and this I remember, has a broader spectrum of function than hydrogen peroxide, and also is not damaging. What happened to this plant? Something happened to this plant. I remember this plant from last year. It had flowers. And now it's being removed or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So if you want to safely, and again, do your own research, but iodine really, really good for wounds, especially not very deep wounds. It's also used in surgery. It doesn't damage your tissues, from what I've read. Again, this is like off the top of my head because I didn't sit down and take notes on this. And so I just kind of took in the information that I needed, which is I was looking to see what is the action for hydrogen peroxide, like what does it do? Why does it work on wounds? And I asked for a mechanism. So I went into ChatGPT and I was like, what's the mechanism? And then I was like, what's the mechanism of iodine action? So the first answer that it gave me was pretty broad. And I still didn't understand the mechanism because there is a mechanism that happens, right? So the iodine has to go into something and have an effect. So, and then the same goes for H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. So then I asked it to explain to me in greater detail the mechanism, and it did. And that's where it kind of got hairy and confusing for me again, because I didn't know some of the terms. So sometimes understanding something is a matter of knowing what the terms are, because if you don't understand the words that they're using, which I didn't, then you can't really imagine what's happening. But I did understand that it's like, so hydrogen peroxide can be good for wound cleaning in a way, but then iodine is what's going to give you protection against whatever it is that you encounter out in the wild, like bacteria, or I think it has an effect on viruses. Rambling galore. And I promise I brushed my hair. Promise. I might not be using the right shampoo or conditioner, so I'll show you what I use. The reason I use it is because it is sulfate free, and I think I have a reaction to the sulfates I definitely have a reaction to it in wine. Like I would used to get a headache if I ever tried it. And then, not surprisingly, in shampoo. So, and then, but I feel like the conditioner is not really hydrating the hair. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I kind of like do it very quickly and I'm like, done. I do like long showers, but only like because I can lie down in the shower and do research. Sometimes I like to stand there and process. And sometimes these days I have to remember that putting away the phone and just processing is good enough, and just like existing, because sometimes you could use it as an escape, and sometimes you just need time to process. That makes sense, right? Okay, trying to keep this video like short. So thank you for being Thank you for being here with me. Thanks for listening to the update, and see you tomorrow. Mwah. Please subscribe. No, please like and please subscribe. I appreciate it. And come back. Bye.